Yeah, what up? It's DJ Sus1, the feature presentation. It's Hip Hop Nation, co-host Ali V.
Yes, sir.
My guy, I haven't seen you in years, is in the building.
Wyclef.
Wyclef.
Sus1, what up, man?
What's up, boy?
I don't know, man. You looking 21 still, brethren.
Because I'm 22, my nigga.
Exactly. That's the case of 18, man.
Yeah. My nigga, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a minute. I feel like you left music for a while. Like, what's going on?
I know, it's been a minute. And the most important thing to me, you got to understand, after 100 million albums worth of work, you ask yourself, what's the purpose, right? Because I've seen friends like Whitney Houston that I've been in the studio with, Amy, Winehouse, when I'm watching the documentary and she's talking to the sensei, Salam Remy, my guy. It's like, it's hard to explain, but after a while you start saying, okay, well, what happens if something was to happen? So once the earthquake happened in my country and I went on that route to try to become president of Haiti,
which we gotta talk about.
I really just, it's like, and I told people when I left music, I didn't leave music because like dudes be on a fall down and they be like, okay, let's go leave music and go do a gospel album now. You know what I mean? No, it's like after I wrote Hips Don't Lie, the record still today that breaks all charts.
By the way, Hips Don't Lie, the Shakira record, he's swagging out on everybody with all the shit he's been saying. The 100 million records.
Yeah. So, but yo, I'm telling you, fam, it's almost like I went to basically give back to my country and really build. And then after that, when I came back to the States, I was mad confused because they took me out the race. I still helped make my man the president. Man, I went to Stockholm, chilled with Avicii for like 2-3 years, and a lot of people was like, what I learned, they ain't even get it. Like, not only was we working, but I was coming from the hardware, and now I was learning about the software. And in Sweden, a lot of the technologies out there. So basically, I came back, got with Heads Music. We partnered up, all female label, and we have a small tech and music company. And the first thing we put out was an EP called Juve. And so it's so funny, right? Because I say you can't bring yourself back in the game, right? I said the reinvention is the kids. They the ones that reinvent you. So once, Young Thug did the record called Wyclef Jean, and then he put me on the tape, what that does is it just gives you a new wind now, right? Because it gives you a new set of kids, right? Because if you from my generation, you might be waiting for a score too, But then if you a new kid and you just see this name Wyclef Jean, you're going to want to go ahead and figure out what it is. So we put out an EP and we had a record called Hendrix that streamed over 40 million. That got everybody's attention, and it allowed us to do the Carnival 3.
Which is out now.
Yeah, and I did a mixtape in like 7 days called Inspired coming out. So I feel like we back in like 1989, 90 when the man, just put albums. Them man, I put 45s out every week. They might call it the juggle vibes, you know what I mean?
I was just curious because, when I was interning at Sony Music back in the day, the Carnival, Wyclef was a serious, different type of 3D popcorn beverage movie at that time, right? And the music was just so different then. So are you excited seeing how the climate is in music today?
I mean, it's incredible for me because I tell you, my first music video ever was Eric B. and Rakim, Don't Sweat the Technique. So to understand that and to understand what the kids are doing today, because I'm a culture bunny, so I always... Because I be telling my friends sometimes you're going to miss it out if you don't understand the language. Like, you got to pay attention. Every generation has their own coding. Like I call my era the woodpecker era. We move out here like this. My daughter, she's like the bass down. All she's doing is waiting for the drop. You know what I mean? So it's like, when's the drop coming? Here goes the drop. So for me, it's like, you got to understand, I'm a student of the culture. So I'm more excited and understand. And the best way to explain it probably is like through Mixtape, because what I was able to do is this Mixtape, and it's gonna get your attention.
Well, wait, hold that thought, because we gotta play music real quick. But I want to talk about the Mixtape Inspired. I want to talk about Carnival 3. I want to talk about you running for president of Haiti. I want to talk about Guitar Line.
If I was president,
we gotta talk about a lot. All right, it's DJ Sus1. It's the feature presentation of Hip Hop Nation. It's DJ Sus1. It's the feature presentation. All right, 21 again. Ali V is here co-hosting. I like when he said that.
Okay.
My brethren Wyclef is in the building.
What's up, families? Vibes.
Carnival 3, Inspired. You flooding the game with music right now, but Inspired's coming out, right?
Yeah, so it's sort of like this a new generation You can't just put an album out. You have to have a mixtape out every couple of months to keep up, right?
Which, by the way, are albums.
Right, of course, and they're albums, right? But I was saying it's like, remind me of the old 45s. So it's almost like, to do it right, 5%ers, right? We have something called, destroy to rebuild, you know what I mean? And basically when it's time to do it again, you got to be willing to think like a child and start again. So with this mixtape Inspired, I took Kendrick's DNA, right? Now I'm barring every bar. So it's like, now you're going to pay attention to what information I have, right? ASAP Ferg, you know what I mean? Like, everything that inspired me for like 2017 of the kids, I basically flipped it. And then you know me, I'm still socially and politically very active. So when I see what's going on with prison reform, there's a joint on there called Chain Gang. And I said dedicated to Meek, because it's important in our generation, while certain things are happening, that we do talk about it. It's so important in the music. We can't just, I'm all about doing the music and catching a vibe, but at times you got to say something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, speaking of today's music, did you get a check, or were you involved with Wild Thoughts, Khaled, Rihanna, and Bryson Tiller?
See, the thing about
you
it
were on
is,
the original. Did you produce the original with Carlos Santana, or who did that?
I own 65% of that record. I actually built it from a keyboard, but it was actually a keyboard, and this is the first part of the groove I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get
So
the call
you got
from
a
Khaled.
big check from the Khaled record.
Well, I mean, first of all, shout out to DJ Khaled, you know what I mean? And like I said, people was like, yo, Wyclef still had a good year this year, you know what I mean? So, I mean, for me, once again, I'm just so happy, man, that kids could sample my music and make it hot again. So it was like, I just remember like the Fugees Killing Me Softly, and we did it, and it became so big, right? And then I just was like, holy shit, we just made somebody else $50 million, right?
Who was Roberta Flack and her team?
No, she didn't write it.
Oh,
so
okay,
it was the
okay.
writer. So then I was like, the power of publishing was strong, right? So then I was like, I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone. So then you start writing. I understood the power of writing, man. And it's crazy, dog, because I just remember being in the studio with Santana, and it's like that dude seen Jimi Hendrix, like him and Hendrix was getting high together at one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can imagine the kind of information they got. So it's just dope to see that go from there to my brother Khaled. That's incredible.
Yeah. That's crazy. Now, running for the president of Haiti, how was that experience? I heard that there, I'm not really the best political person, so please forgive me, but I heard that there were people that were happy, and I heard that there were people that were angry about it. So I just wanted to know what that experience was like.
Yo, it was crazy. Politics is crazy. You know what I mean? And I told people, like, politics is so gangster that it controls gangsters. That's how. So could you imagine that? So I go for the seat that could control the gangsters. So I ran, and it probably was the toughest thing I've ever did besides losing my father, because you sacrifice it all. Like, and people was like, yo, why the hell would you be just sitting here in Jersey in a mansion and be like, yo, I'm gonna go and figure that out. It was tough on the ground. A lot of fighting, you know what I mean? A lot of, like, you could hear different stories, see online. But like I said, I love Bob Marley. He ain't just sing about it. He was about it. Fela Kuti's really about it. And that's really me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I come from that project environment, and the whole thing is, if you want to do good and you want to move politicians out of the ways, at times you got to step up. Yeah. Man, I wish there was somebody else that could have ran when I ran, dog, but there was nobody else at that time, and I was the face of my country. Yeah. So like anything, you see today how dirty politics is, right? Yeah. And now a lot of things are being revealed. Like, you're like, hold up. So if you understand that, then you can understand, as a Haitian brother, at the time I was running, I ain't gonna write the book now. That book, maybe I'll write it when I'm like 65, but it literally, the best way to explain it, I got J. Edgar Hoovered. Basically, J. Edgar Hoover created the FBI. Yeah. And what I mean is, like, I just felt like certain infiltrations and powers to be just was like, no, we can't let this happen. You know what I mean? I helped my man become the president, but it was definitely, it's tough. I mean, you got to understand, when I'm in the projects and you tell me sucker freeze, nigga, give me your sneakers, and I'm looking at you and you like, nigga, I told you to freeze, give me your, and I'm not giving you my sneakers, and you gotta be like, yo, this dude rather die. It's just where I come from. It's like we built the actual guns themselves. You understand? Like I'm telling you, an 8-year-old could roll up on you and you become food for him. So coming from that kind of climax of the city of gods, you know, we call it Cité Soleil. It was like, for me, it was like, I had to find another alternative. So music is great. And in the course of history, though, can you imagine we having this interview? You'd be like, yo, man, okay, I understand you doing your music now. But in this year, 250,000 of your people was under the rubble in an earthquake.
Yeah, man.
Where was you at, bro? You know what I mean? And now you know where I was at, baby. You know what I mean? We was on the ground with the folks, man.
Let me ask you real quick. What's your take? Because you do talk about politics, and Russell Simmons actually stepped down from his companies, you know, due to all the sexual allegations. My personal opinion is that this is a reorganization of power. What's your take on it?
Well, I mean, for me, great question. You know, I love Russell. Russell's like the godfather, you know. At the end of the day, you know, it's respect for everybody. And I think, you know, Russell is one of the smartest men that I've ever met in my entire life. And we respect what he did for the culture and basically what he continues to do for the culture. But through Hollywood right now, it's definitely a siege of a lot going on. Yeah.
We're going to be right back with my brother Wyclef. Carnival 3 is out right now. Inspired, the mixtape is coming out. It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation of Hip Hop Nation. Yo, what up? It's the feature presentation, DJ Sus One. It's Hip Hop Nation. My co-host Ali V is here.
I am here.
My brother Wyclef is in the building.
Yes, family, you already know we out here, man.
My nigga, I'm a hip hop fan. I'm a Wyclef fan. We cool for a while.
Yeah, man.
What is the relationship? I've never asked you this. I'm not sure if you've been asked before. I'm sure you've had to be asked before. But what is the relationship with you and the other two members, Lauryn Hill and Prize of the Fugees? Because as a fan of hip hop, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but I would love. I don't give a fuck what climate it is right now to see another Fugees album, if it's possible.
And you said Dave Chappelle's the only person that could reunite the Fugees.
Yeah, I do believe that. So I don't remember what number it is on my mixtape. I wrote a letter to the Fugees.
Really?
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Is this the mixtape that's coming out?
Inspired, yeah.
Okay.
So literally, the whole tape is about what I know that you're thinking already. So the letter's called Inspired, and in Inspired, I have my man Ghost from Power.
Yeah.
So Ghost from Power, who is also incredible poetically, and people, you know, they're gonna discover a whole. What's Ghost, AKA? Oski, right?
Oski.
Yeah, Oski, and so the whole concept, the record starts off. I start with the original Ready or Not sample, right, with this letter, right? Now, when I was in the studio, there was 2 parts to the sample. I kept one part back that I didn't sample, right? So I know the Fugees is gonna get it when they hear it, right? Because the letter, I start off with the original. And then right when I'm kicking the drums in, I go to the new part of Ready or Not, which I didn't sample, that y'all didn't even hear yet. And in the letter, I'm just explaining, you know what I mean, whatever's, you know, I wish the members well. I don't want to get into that letter, but y'all could definitely check it out. I get into it, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I said, I still can understand why every interview I do, you know what I mean, the fans will want, you know, a Fugees record, because really,
it's the most incredible album ever, one of the most incredible albums of hip hop.
Yeah, and then when we started, we was like, yo, we ain't gonna do music. We was like, we're gonna be a movement. And that was always that word, like, we ain't gonna just do music, we're gonna be a movement. So it's deep. As a fan, I always want to see that happen. So Dave Chappelle,
yeah,
cause he the one that put the Fugees together for the block party. That was he got this. Dave got this way, man. He just, him and Obama.
He makes you laugh your way back together.
Him and Obama. They got a way where they sit you down. You know what I mean? Dave's like, well, look, I just love the Fugees. You know, what are you going to tell Dave Chappelle?
So I'm going to take that as listen to the damn mixtape.
No, I want you to check that song, because in that song I said, you know, me as a fan also, you know, like I would love to do that also. You know what I mean?
Now, what's the relationship now, just as a fan? Because when I came into the game as an intern, you don't even know this. I used to intern for Sony Music. I used to intern for Crave Records. Mariah had a label under Sony. It was I interned for Epic, for Dave McPherson. I interned for Columbia, and you guys were a movie over there. And I just remember at the time, Canibus was super big, and you were producing for him. He was huge in the mixtape.
Yeah,
circus.
lyrical bar. Yo, till today, you know, shout out to, you know, King of the Dot, you know, We Go Hard League, URL, all of these rap leagues that you see, and these kids now in these battle leagues, they're making good money. Like, this different. Like, in the cafeteria, we ain't get paid. On the block, we just had to battle rap. They're getting good money for this, you know. Canibus was one of those guys who inspired a lot of that battle rapping.
He definitely did. He was
I was telling people, Canibus was the first person. I was in England, and Canibus turns on a computer, and he's writing his battle raps on a computer, you know. And I'm like, yo, what kind of thug nerd is this? Like, that's how in tune he was. Like, I'm saying, he writing the craziest bars like this, as if he's typing something. And I'm like, and I just knew that he was gifted. And like I said, at the end of the day, I was talking about this. I got caught up in the middle of it because it was Canibus versus LL, you know what I mean? And I had did the second round knockout record. I had got Mike Tyson, you know. So but it's all love, man. It's all love.
First of all, that was an incredible battle record. Now, LL Cool J is one of my heroes. I'm not going to take that away from him. I saw an interview earlier that you did with Vlad, and he said The Ripper Strikes Back was like incredible. I disagree. I thought that was a landslide for you guys in that battle. But I wanted to go to say, why do you think Canibus never got the success? Because when he was rhyming on the mixtapes, motherfuckers was like, yo, he might be able to compete with Nas and Big, like the way he was spitting. So why do you feel like it never got to that level of success? And the only reason I'm asking you is because you were heavily involved.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like, definitely. And I think that a basketball team, as a coach, you know, the idea is, you know, if we're going to play in the NBA, right, every year is, how do we get to the championship, right? And look, man, you know, you're going to get knocked out. You're going to fall down. You got to get back up. I just felt like the first album, you know what I mean? Of course, what the fans wanted was 12 songs of second round knockout. And I felt like if we stayed hard like that, then he would have won with the first album. But I didn't feel like the first album was a failure because it still came in number 2.
There was some hard shit
right?
on that
And
album.
then everyone was playing the numbers game. And I was like, no, all we got to do is calm down. Okay, now we see what they want. Let's go ahead and rebuild because, you know, I do believe in that 3 strikes and you're out thing. You know what I mean? So I felt like we had 2 more balls to play. You know what I mean? Now, this was my speech to Canibus, right? Before the LL thing. I was like, look, I'm a wizard. You know, but let me let you know, as a chess master, what you're about to do. So I was like, yo, this guy that we going up against, starting with me, like, he inspires me to, like, I battle rap because I watched that guy battle rap. Then I was like, yo, but I need sexy records at the same time. And I was like, LL has the biggest female fan base. And I said, as an artist, that's what we strive for. Because if the females ain't listening to your music, you ain't popping, because them dudes is just gonna follow the next league. It's just how guys are. You know, the females vibe, we want to vibe with it. So I told them that, and like I said, it was just hard to come back because what the fans wanted was 12 second round knockouts. You know what I mean? So I felt like he could have still came back and kept punching. It's really 3 strikes and you out. You can't really just do something and decides. You have to be careful how you play the music game. It's 360, right? So you it's like the block. You gotta be careful, dog. You can't. Yo, me don't want to be a runner, man. Me want to be a big man. Stay what I'm telling you, man. Go sell this blood clot nickel bag. Like, you can't try to reach too fast. We don't come out our mama's wombs just running. And I still felt like Canibus definitely had room. Until today, he's still, like, bar for bar, one of my favorite lyricists, like, that I've heard.
Yeah, I heard a bunch of freestyles. He was rhyming with Big Pun, DMX, these freestyles, and he was destroying everybody. Big Pun is one of the greatest of all time. Canibus was ripping new ass in these freestyles. So
yeah, that was a gift. Like, everyone has a gift, right, with the rap, and some people stick out differently lyrically with how they play with the words, right? Wordsmiths. Canibus was just such a wordsmith, man.
Why did you guys not give it a second shot?
I wanted to give it a second shot, you know what I mean? But I couldn't force the artist to give it a second shot. You know? I'm just a good guy, you know what I mean? So I came in, I executive produced, I did what I had to do. But now, like I said, I'm a coach. Like you can't, you right? If you the player, you have to be willing. Now, I know how to do this. Like, if you keep punching that door and you got that talent, it's always gonna break through. But it's sort of like hard to explain if you haven't been there a few times. And like, just hold on, it's gonna be cool. Cause the era, imagine how much pressure was on Duke, right?
Yeah.
There was so much pressure on him. So the pressure was like, man, if you don't come out and sell 500,000 records the first week, if we don't see you on that number one, you know what I mean? And then I'm just like, don't go for this pressure, because Fugees blunted on reality. We sold like 40,000, 50,000 copies. And we was like, okay, strike one. Okay, we back up to bat. You know what I mean? And the second bat's the score. So with Can, I just knew, like, with you make a mistake, you got to figure it out. Like, you adjust and say, we got to go back and we got to figure it out.
We'll be right back with my brother Wyclef. It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation of Hip Hop Nation. Yo, DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. My co-host Ali V is here.
Yes, sir.
Wyclef.
What up, family?
Wyclef.
Saka fed.
Nigga, you got too much money. You got a guitar line out. You were telling me before we started airing that you have a hip-hop guitar coming.
Yeah, definitely. So, like,
explain to me what exactly a hip-hop guitar is. Explain to the people.
Okay, so when we say hip-hop guitar, hip-hop's the culture. And the word hip-hop is eclectic, right? So when we go into crates, we dig into all kinds of things, right? So what if I create a guitar that could be as eclectic as when you playing the Technique 1200, right? So now, the other part which makes it a hip-hop guitar, there's a few components, right? In our culture, I always say my mom took a gun out of my hand and replaced it with a guitar. So one of the part of the lines that we have is we take gun parts, AK-47s, all kind of guns, and then we convert them into guitars. We also got a part of, but think about how much we glorify the arms, you know what I mean? The yard man. So now what happens is if I turn that piece into love. Yeah. So that's gonna go crazy. So in March, like, the orders is gonna go crazy, but I'm excited about the acoustic tagline. So think of like an acoustic guitar. You can go up on this site and you can be like Bronx, and all of the taggers from the Bronx show up, and you're able to customize your guitar like Nike ID. Now, why I like this is because it's a revenue because a true businessman understand, unless you're employing people, you don't have no business. So this becomes a new revenue stream. And then the third part of it is the software. Everything is voice activated. So Uncle Clef can teach anyone how to play guitar in 10 minutes. Any loop you thinking about. I don't care if it's from the late 70s or modern.
It's patented, right? Because you're talking about it.
Yeah, we're
I want there to be the Apple guitar.
There go the lawyer right there. Okay. So definitely. So we're working, and then think about this. In order for it to work, though, it's like, I don't care who try to steal this. In my generation, I am the hip-hop guitarist. It don't exist. You go back to the score 1994, you're going to see one of my tag acoustic guitars. So for me, very, 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 as y'all can see, I put the V's on it, excited about this because, if this works, it becomes a learning tool. Right. So whatever this voice activation is, think about it. You can apply that to a piano, to a guitar, to a curriculum, to anything. So this is where we see some of the future coming. So that's like the other side of the Clef brand, because when I come to America, my father said, you're going to be doctor, lawyer, or engineer. So this is the engineer side of my brain thinking, It's
going to change technology, because I used to carry 10 crates of records. Now I'm carrying a laptop and a book bag. This is going to change the whole world.
Do you know what I would love to do?
What?
I would love to like, while you have your laptop with you.
With the laptop and.
Well, I'm already going to do that.
Okay,
this is what I'm going to love to do. I would love to, the right time, build your sus guitar, like, to the point where you can literally plug it up and you can the same way I mess with you and I'm DJing this way,
Yeah.
I want you to pick up the instrument and be able to, you know, hit the 808 or the snare, lock it in real time while you playing music. So I'm creating a tool that I feel in our culture, right? Because everybody in our culture, like, you have a space, right? It's only a few aliens left, you know what I mean? So it's like Puff is an alien, Jay-Z's an alien, very few left. So I know I have a space, like there's a space that only I can do. So so it's bigger than the music, right? The music is just a transition for this bigger space. Yeah.
Are you DJing on the low? I heard you guys talking about clashing.
Sus, man. Let
Yo,
me
dog,
tell you.
You're already getting all the producer money.
No,
You
Sus,
already-
listen.
Yo.
No, Sus, listen. When it come to this clash, you saw my whole tone of voice just change. You see
Yes.
my face change. You know what I mean? Now you no longer a
By,
friend.
by the way, people,
You're a
clashing is
clasher
very
now.
big in the Caribbean culture. I heard your dubplate game is stupid.
Yo, let me tell you, I don't play when it comes to dub plates. Like, so for me, could people like, what are they talking about? Just think of two DJs. Like me, so if me and Sus, we go in a clash, right? And then we both, and this is really, I have a Michael Jackson dub plate.
I was just about to ask you what's the biggest dub.
Yeah.
That's
so
disrespectful, bro.
but still think about it. Okay, we ain't gonna use Michael Jackson. So me and him, we going to clash. And when we going to clash, you the audience, you show up. Now when you show up, you gonna give what's called a forward to the biggest music that you're gonna hear within that time, right? Now what the audience is looking for is an original song, a big song. It could be a big song or a local song. It's original with you dissing the other DJ. So think about it. So at the end of the day, it could be Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson is gonna be talking about, I'm gonna murder Sus, and the crowd goes crazy. Now I hold it back and the crowd give me a forward. Now he goes and it's his turn. Now he got to figure out
Yo, Clef,
what song
let
can
me
kill
stop
Michael
this.
Jackson.
Let me stop right here, bro. Let's just be clear. If you have a Michael Jackson dub plate, there is nobody on planet Earth that can battle you in the clash world, and I don't understand why you have fun doing
But
this.
listen, but check this out though. But it's all with the dubs. It's like chess, right? Because if you let right now, I just made myself vulnerable because Tony Mataran probably listened to this boy. And I know you're like, yo, Clef just have one Michael Jackson. Be careful. Be careful.
That's the biggest artist of all time.
Whitney Houston. So on the mixtape,
Okay.
I have a Whitney Houston dub plate that no one heard yet. So when I was in
Wow.
the studio with Whitney, and I was like, yo, Whitney, I need you to cut a dub. And you know, with the dub, you got to say some crazy shit, right? Like, you know, I'll murder a sound, whatever. So I had Whitney do a few for me, but the one that I put on the tape was one I haven't used yet. And so I'm very excited about that. So dope shit, man.
Inspired, the mixtape is coming out.
Inspired.
How open are you to working with like new artists? Because for some reason I see like you and SZA working together.
That's my biggest thing. I mean, with our label like Heads Music, forget about me. The artists that I got coming, that we gonna have coming, from girls to guys to, I'm so excited because I got some lethal artists that y'all haven't heard yet that can play in that landscape. You know, we have a girl by the name of Jazzy. We have another one by the name of Hannah. And I'm saying, this is me. So I'm telling you, this is me, Wyclef, you know, Beyonce, Lauren, Mary J. I'm saying, like, I have there's, with this label Heads Music, because there's also another side to the game, right? The other side is, what if I bring to you now a 19-year-old that can pick up her guitar now, and she's singing the same way they singing, but she's doing trap with just her guitar.
Yeah.
What happened? So there's a lot of the musician side of it that you don't see no more, right? So, but those kids are still out there. They're as talented. So I'm very excited about like the new artists, you know what I mean? And constantly just working. Because if you don't have fresh artists and new artists, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
Well, I wanted to ask you, because you've been in the game a minute. Has there been any, because like he produced for early Destiny's Child, like when you see artists like did you know Beyonce was going to be as big as she is today? And also, is there anybody that you passed on being an executive that became so huge? Because, you know, Sylvia Rhone said, get the fuck out of here to Drake, and Drake became Drake. But I heard a lot of stories like that, like Tone and Poke from Trackmasters told me they let a lot of people go that became big. And your executive career, has been anybody that you let go that became huge and you're like, damn, I fucked up? Fat Joe said he could have signed Eminem. There was a few that he let go. So I want to know if you have any of those stories.
You know what's the craziest story is probably, I feel like Akon. In the early days, I had Akon, and you know that's my little brother at the end of the day. But when we was doing the score, it was so big, and Con used to come and be like, "Yo, I'm telling you, my stuff is different. You're gonna have," but because we was like so busy, you know, and he still ended up being big. We still ended up working, you know. But at times I was like, "Yo, what would have happened if I would have attached Akon to what we was doing with?" Because Akon, I have him on the score. The remix to Fugees, the reggae remix to Fugees, I put Akon at the end.
Really?
Like that's how far, you know what I mean? But we was moving so much. He was like one of them artists that I just knew like was going to blow at some point in time. He was incredible, man, at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You got anything else?
Yeah, what's your take? I know I've been asking everyone this, but like with the Grammy nominations, how do you feel about that and everybody that's gotten selected? Do you feel like there's someone that they may have left out that should have gotten nominated this year?
Yeah, I mean, they always gonna leave somebody out, you know what I mean? And then we can always, what is it? It's like 12,000 people that vote, right?
Yeah.
12,000 people. So
well, I don't know if you saw Q-Tip. Q-Tip was fucking heated.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, he felt like Tribe should have got nominations. It was the last Tribe album. They did a favor for the Grammys. It was #1 in multiple countries. I hear a lot of hip hop artists mad at the Grammys. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that ain't gonna stop, right? But at the end of the day, it's 12,000 people that's voting, and these mostly your peers, and it definitely gets political. A lot, you know what I mean? But what you do is you have to weave yourself through the politics. I mean, even like with us, like I remember with the score, and it was like, you see how much y'all love the score, and the score ain't even get nominated for album of the year, because at times they was still trying to figure out what it is, right? So my advice is this, right? Because I'm from Haiti. One thing I learned about America, right? Can't cry over spoiled milk. At the end of the day, if you want something, no one's gonna give it to you. You gotta get it, right? Think about it. Jay-Z and them, they used to boycott the Grammys because at one time they was like, yo, we got to get the respect that we're going to get. So at the end of the day, what I urge y'all to do is just keep punching those doors, knocking those doors, keep doing the good music, and eventually wherever you're trying to get to, you definitely going to get to that. You know what I mean? I watched Kanye do this, you know. I thought, okay, you going to deny me this year? All right, you ain't going to deny me next year. You ain't going to deny me. So that's that kind of energy that, you know, you gotta have. Like, you can't have that and I so sympathize with Q-Tip at the same time, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, right?
Wyclef, thank you for coming to the feature presentation radio show, my brother.
You already know, man.
We're gonna talk more behind the scenes. I'm not gonna let years pass without us talking again, my brother.
Sus 21 again. Yeah, you already know, man.
It's DJ Sus One, it's Hip Hop Nation. All right, let's do it.